Another week and another pile of LEGO news worth unpacking, and the eagle-eyed amongst you might notice a slight change to my profile picture. That is because I'm currently taking part in Spinjitzusociety's SigFig tournament, and I have of course entered my SigFig under the name of Roy, because the masked one was taken. And literally out of nowhere, we have this, a new LEGO Minecraft Dungeons 2 set, 21591, called the Twisted Warden Battle. This set has 438 pieces and will be out the 1st of August. Now, I enjoyed playing the first Minecraft Dungeons with my son, and I'm very happy it's getting a sequel. And the set itself looks pretty cool too. I like the variety of minifigures that we get, and I think these are new weapon pieces, though I could be mistaken. And it looks like a solid mob build. Then earlier this month, we spoke about an upcoming gift with purchase, set 40902, tribute to Leonardo da Vinci. Now, thanks to Faniclock Owl, we've finally got some images of it. This gift with purchase is rumoured to start on the 19th of June with a possible $150 spend requirement to get this 251 piece set. It looks pretty neat. There's a nice amount of detail on this set, with what I think is a printed Mona Lisa painting, or it might be a sticker. It's a bit difficult to make out from the quality of the images, and I love the little flying machine build that you've got that you can attach to Leonardo. The minifigure I'm pretty much certain is the same one that we got in this LEGO set. The only difference this time round is Da Vinci has a hat. Okay, Pokemon fans, it's time for some good news, bad news. The good news, the brick-built Pokeball won't be the only LEGO Pokemon set getting a minifigure. The bad news, there's more Pokemon Smart Play sets on the way. Okay, so the good news first, set 72168, the brick-built Rayquaza, will also have a minifigure. This is reported to be Zinnia, who I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot about the character, and after a quick Google search, I can see why, as I don't own a Mega Ruby or Sapphire. But regardless, it's cool that we're getting another Pokemon trainer as a minifigure. Now the bad news. Credit to Get Cooped on Instagram for the info on this one, because LEGO's legal team is clearly working overtime trying to scrub these images from existence. No visuals here for obvious reasons. What we do know, this will be LEGO Pokemon set 72167, Charizard vs Jolteon, Ultimate Battle. With 751 pieces, this will be hitting the shelves on the 1st of August 2026. Now, Jolteon. I'm just going to say this from a place of love. It does look a little bit like the saber-toothed Tigerzord from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I think it's the legs. On the plus side, both Pokemon builds use printed pieces for their faces. And the mouthpiece on Jolteon does look like you could use it for a small Pikachu build. And of course, then there's the smart brick planted dead center in Jolteon's chest, like it's cosplaying as Iron Man. Charizard also doesn't escape from this unscathed either. The smart brick is embedded in his crotch. At least it's hidden within the build, so, points for discretion this time round. But still, is this what LEGO Pokemon needs to be? Smart brick functionality at the cost of an actual decent build. Because here's the thing, and I know I keep going on about it, the Mega Bloks versions of these Pokemon are just better. They look better, they feel more faithful, and yes, compromises have to be made to accommodate the smart brick, I understand that, but at what point do the compromises outweigh the product? And that's the question this wave keeps refusing to answer. On to the LEGO magazines, and once again thanks to Bricky News for a peek of what is upcoming. The LEGO Minecraft magazine is getting a brick-built mob, which looks like some kind of lava slime, magna cube, possibly. I'm not too good at Minecraft mob identification. If my son was here, he would be able to tell me. An upcoming issue of the LEGO Ninjago Legacy magazine will feature Grimfax and the Legacy version of Nia's Samurai X. This was the last thing I expected, but I'll take it because I can't afford that Titan mech. At this rate, we're definitely getting all the new figures in the Legacy and Ninjago magazines this year, and I'm all for it. Another win for Ninjago fans. And the LEGO Star Wars magazine is wrapping up its minifigure run with a micro build of a Republic gunship, which I know might be a letdown for some people, but we've had a few solid months of back-to-back minifigures, so I think it'll be okay if we don't have one for a month or two. And the LEGO Ideas fan vote for the Pokemon 3D card art has begun. I'm going to say this. This is what the Pokemon IP should be doing with LEGO. A fan-designed set of Pokemon rendered as 3D card art. And every single entry is more interesting than anything the current official lineup is giving us. Gyarados looks stunning and is almost certainly going to win this, but Rowlet and Joltik look brilliant. They're never going to beat the heavy hitters in a popularity vote, because things like Mew and Gyarados have that Gen 1 nostalgia power behind them. And that's a shame, because these two definitely deserve recognition. They both look adorable, and my vote is definitely going to Voltic. You have until the 11th of June to cast your vote. And LEGO has announced the grand prize winner of that Rebuilding Outdoor Adventure Challenge. The winner is this delightful little creation called Highland Hike by Stewbot. This will become a future gift for purchase in late 2027-28. And onto the official reveals. We have a Venom bust. Yes, really. One of the more unexpected LEGO leaks, and now reveals to surface recently, is a bust set based on Tom Hardy's Venom trilogy. It will be made up of 413 pieces, priced at $60 with a 1st of July release date. And honestly, I think LEGO kind of missed their window of opportunity with this. These films were in the cinema a while ago, and LEGO produced exactly 0 sets. Now that the trilogy has wrapped up, suddenly there's an appetite for a bust. I don't know, that's just my fault. Honestly, I think the set is well designed. We've got some nice printed elements. It's decent. It's probably one of the better looking busts that we've actually had. And the minifigure looks great too. We've got some good torso and arm printing, but alas, no leg printing. I do have a third-party Venom minifigure, which does have leg printing on it, so it'll be interesting to see if the legs are a decent match to this. 2 new LEGO Star Wars sets have just been revealed, both dropping on the 1st of August, and both put an inspiration from the Mandalorian universe. We have the Offworld Sandcrawler and the Imperial Remnant 8080. Starting off with set 75453, the Offworld Sandcrawler and Mudhorn, priced at $200 with 1,683 pieces. This comes with 5 minifigures. The last minifigure scale Sandcrawler we had came out in 2018, and honestly that thing looked a little rough. The proportions were slightly off, it was awkward to scale, and this new version mostly fixes all of those issues. Plus, I think it kind of looks better in grey. The build itself has a functioning cockpit that fits at least 3 doors. The dials at the rear of the build control both the steering and lowering of the main entrance ramp. The treads can rotate, and there's an interior scrap bay towards the back. There are 2 fabric sail pieces that sit at the top of the build that can be removed to set up a little ground level market scene. Of course, there are stud shooters on the build as well, though they look a bit out of place, but they are easy enough to remove if they bother you. The Mudhorn build is compact, it uses a new eyepiece, and the egg is built using the newer rock element that has been seen in LEGO City sets this year, and it can be opened to reveal the yolk inside. The drawers become frantic over a Mudhorn egg, so you can recreate this scene in LEGO form. Now, the minifigures, there are 3 drawers, each have a unique torso print, and it's an impressive detail. One of those has the double strap design that will be appearing in the 2026 advent calendar, and the Grogu figure uses the newer mold without the Beskar armor, which I think is the better version. And the Mando minifigure is an exclusive mud-covered variant based on the same UCS Razor Crest design with full arm printing, but dirtied up for this specific scene. It looks great. The figure that's probably going to cause the most issue is Cully, who was previously exclusive to the UCS Razor Crest. He appears to be essentially the same figure here, which will frustrate a lot of people who pay the premium to get him the first time round, which is a fair reaction. But it also means the secondary market price for that UCS figure is likely going to be heading downwards, which is good news for anyone who was holding off buying him. Set 75454, Imperial Remnant 8080 with INT4, priced at $160 with 1,453 pieces with 7 minifigures. This isn't the Empire Strikes Back 8080 that LEGO has revisited repeatedly. This is the prototype 8080 that was first introduced in Star Wars Rebels and later seen in Jedi Fallen Order. And it has never appeared as a LEGO set before, at least I don't think it has. The head design is noticeably different from the standard version, which matters to those collectors who care about accuracy. The last regular minifigure scale 8080 came out in 2020, so that's quite a gap all things considered. The INT4 is making its first ever LEGO appearance. This was based on a Kenner toy that was incorporated into the Mandalorian and Grogu film. It's a compact, clever little build that stores inside the 8080's side compartment. There's also a speeder stored in the rear that is secured in place by 2 plates. The 8080's legs have some knee articulation and even rotation at the base. The cockpit of the build opens up and there's a missile launcher in the head, and there are some sticker placements on a couple of the bricks, which is a minor issue. Overall though, the build delivers what it promises. 7 minifigures is a strong count for $160, and the Imperial Remnant Snowtroopers feature a new helmet piece. I think the last Snowtrooper mold appeared in 2022. The 2 without their snow covers do look particularly sharp. The 8080 driver returns to its white colour after years of that sand blue, and Commander Boar, listed as an Imperial Remnant Warlord, gets a new torso and leg prints, with some solid fur detailing on the torso. Mando and Grogu are the same figures that have been seen elsewhere in this wave, which is a missed opportunity for something different. Or, hear me out, we could have done without them in this set and gotten 2 more snowtroopers. From a pure value standpoint, this is arguably the stronger buy. 3 vehicles, 7 figures, and a scene that was one of the most heavily promoted moments in the movie, which raises the obvious question, why is this only coming out in August, when the film is already out? LEGO's release timings can be truly baffling. Both sets arrive on the 1st of August alongside the previously revealed Star Wars sets, and as waves go, it covers meaningful ground. We've got our first ever Sandcrawler at this scale since 2018, a never before made prototype 8080, the first ever INT4, multiple exclusive prints. The wave isn't perfect, but it's not bad either. If you're only picking one up, the Sandcrawler is the more interesting of the two sets, but the 8080 is probably the better value for your money, but both are decent purchases. So I stumbled across something genuinely impressive because sometimes the LEGO fan community continues to make the official design team look like they're not trying hard enough. Twitter user Meanology has been doing something brilliant, building custom vehicles for every minifigure in Series 29. And the results are exactly the kind of thing that reminds you why this hobby has such a devoted following. Each build clearly has some real thought behind it, but the standouts to me are this crab mech for the scuba diver and Lloyd's bionic frog, which immediately reminded me of Naruto. Now, we all know I like to cover stories throughout the LEGO-verse, be that leaks, new set releases, or a celebration or an achievement within the LEGO community. But currently there's a corporate scandal unfolding right now inside the LEGO community, and honestly, it's the kind of story that makes you question whether the legal system is actually built for regular people or just those who afford the biggest lawyers. Now, I'm not going to say I know a lot about this topic, only what I've learned over the course of my lunch break. So this is going to be more of a condensed, generalized overview of what's been happening. If you want a more detailed explanation, then Duck Bricks, Reckless Ben, and Law for Masses would be your best bet as they go into much more detail of what's happening, and I'll link their videos down in the description. So, Bricks and Minifigs. Depending how deep you are into the LEGO world, you already know the name. Brick and Minifigs is one of the largest used LEGO resale chains in the United States. It has over 100 franchise locations, reportedly pulling in somewhere around about 80 million in annual revenue, possibly more. This story begins with Brian Mansell and his 83-year-old father. Together, they assembled a sealed LEGO Star Wars collection made up of more than 780 sets, a collection Brick and Minifigs roughly valued to about $80,000, and later advertised it as potentially worth $200,000. In 2023, Mansell entered a consignment agreement with the company's Salem, Oregon franchise. Under that arrangement, the store would sell the sets on his behalf while he retained ownership. For nearly a year, that agreement worked as intended. Things then changed abruptly on the 14th of November in 2024. The store owners contacted Brick and Minifigs Corporate, who I'm just going to call the Suits from now on, with a routine question about possibly selling their franchise. Apparently within hours, the Brick and Minifigs representatives arrived, terminated the franchise, and took control of the store. There is also apparently security footage that shows the owners informing the Brick and Minifig Suits about the consigned LEGO sets, and the Suits acknowledging their responsibility for it. Then days later, when Mansell requested the return of his unsold inventory, the Suits claimed that the consignment of LEGO had been unauthorized, but the franchise documents show the consignment is an approved service, and the Suits had been receiving a share of the sales for months. Now, unfortunately, unable to afford the estimated $70,000 legal fees required to pursue this injunction, Mansell turned to YouTuber and investigative creator Reckless Ben. What followed was a series of unconventional attempts to force a resolution, which basically led to them having 10 separate small claim lawsuits, each for $10,000, the maximum that is allowed apparently in Oregon. Brick and Minifigs did not appear in court, and all 10 of these were won by default, which is good news. But when they arrived to collect, the store had been emptied just hours earlier. This situation then escalated further when, according to Schneider's reporting, the police acted on false claims made against him. He was then detained, searched, and eventually faced a warrant out for his arrest, and he has apparently since left the country. Meanwhile, the LEGO collection remains unreturned. It's out there somewhere, either hidden away or has been brought unknowingly by someone else. And throughout this, Brick and Minifigs has maintained 3 key defenses: that the consignment was unauthorized, that the dispute is solely between Mansell and the former store owners, and that the Suits are not bound by their contract. Each one of those claims has been contradicted by their own corporate documents, security footage, or business transfer law. Now, as a casual observer of all this and only having an hour's education into what is happening, the strategy of this company is absolutely mind-boggling. Returning the inventory, which they never purchased, would cost them nothing. Instead, the company now faces viral backlash, legal judgments, and widespread criticism from the LEGO community and beyond. For the Mansell family, the priority remains simple: the return of a collection built over a decade and a half, and the resolution of a dispute that has made an elderly man's hobby just vanish into the ether. As of writing this, the story continues to develop, with growing pressure on Bricks and Minifigs to address the allegations directly. So keep an eye out for that as more details emerge. And on that slightly somber note, we've reached the end of the video. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a most wonderful day. Bye!